Ma'am, how many pages should we leave for the previous chapter?
Previous chapter, 2 pages you leave. I'll do it in the sixth period. Okay, boys?
Okay, ma'am.
Did I start with this motion of electrons? Okay. We'll start with this, boys. Now, if I take a piece of any conductor for that matter, right? I'm not connecting this material to any power supply, right? Now, current is due to the flow of free charges. The current flows because of the free charges. Now, here you can see electrons, the valence electrons are moving from one atom to the other atom, but still the current is not flowing. The reason is that the electrons are moving in random direction because your velocity is a vector quantity. So the electron keeps moving in different direction so that the net velocity becomes equal to 0. So that's the reason the conductor is not able to conduct current. The current is not flowing through the metal or the conductor because though the electrons are in motion, the electrons are in random motion. Now, what happens when you are connecting this conductor to a power supply? The moment you can connect your conductor to a power supply, you can see this end is positive, this end is negative. So one end of the conductor is connected to the positive terminal of your battery, other end is connected to the negative terminal. Immediately there will be an electric field applied, right? So there exists an electric field across the conductor. Now this electric field will apply a force on the electrons, and you can see almost all the electrons will start to move in the same direction. Almost all the electrons will start now move in the same direction so that you have a net velocity. Hence we term that the flow of these charges constitutes an electric current. So the moment your conductor is connected across a power supply, the chemical energy stored in the cell is applying an electric field. Right? There is an electric field across the conductor. Now, what does this electric field do? This electric field is going to apply force on these electrons so that the electrons try to move in a particular direction. So you will have a net velocity. Now, this movement of the electrons under the influence of an electric field will constitute a current. Now, can you tell me what will be the direction of the motion of the electrons? How are the electrons moving? Boys, can someone tell me how the electrons are moving? Okay, it's in a direction opposite to the direction of the electric field. Why? Because it's electrons. Electrons always try to move towards the positive electrode. Because this is your positive electrode. This end of the wire is connected to the positive terminal. Correct? So that end becomes positive compared to the other end. So all your electrons will move towards the positive end of the conductor. So can you check the direction of the motion of the electric field and the direction of the motion of the electrons? The electrons are moving in a direction opposite to that of your electric field. Is that clear, boys? Is that clear? Now, the question is, the electric field is applying a force. Will not be your electrons accelerated? I'm asking you. The electric field is applying a force on these electrons. Will not your electrons be accelerated? What happened?
Electric field over here is towards the right and electrons are towards the going towards the left.
Yes, correct. Correct. So the direction of the motion of the electrons will be opposite to the direction of the
So it will
electric field.
be, here the angle that created is 180.
It will be 180 degrees. Correct.
Because if it's in the same direction, it's 0, right?
It will be 0. Fine. Now, the electric field is applying a force on an electron. Now the question is, will not be the electron accelerated? Will the electron be accelerated or not? The basic question. Will not the electron be accelerated?
No, because isn't it going opposite to it?
Okay. Okay, it will not be
Giving out,
accelerated.
it won't have acceleration, ma'am, but there will be motion.
It will be motion. Fine.
A very
Anyone else?
slight motion.
Okay, fine. Anyone else? The electric field is applying a force on an electron. Will it not be accelerated? It gets accelerated. It gets accelerated, but this acceleration lasts for only a few seconds. Now, please understand, boys. Now, what is resistance? Can you think over resistance? What do you mean by resistance?
And the resist
Yes.
of flow of electrons through it.
So why does electrons are restricted? Why electrons are restricted? Now, what do you mean by resistance? You have learned in your lower grade. What is resistance? Electrons, see, the moment you connect, suppose I take a piece of copper wire, I'm connecting it to a power supply. Electron starts to move. Now, these electrons, do these electrons move freely? Do these electrons move freely in a conductor? No. Now, why? What makes them to slow down? Okay, nature. Nature means what? What can you term about the nature?
Nature of the
Boys,
conductor.
I have a piece. Yes, I have a piece of conductor, right? I'm connecting it to a power supply. Now, electrons. What does the energy? This is the chemical energy stored in the battery, right? The chemical energy stored in the battery will do a work. It's going to do a work in pushing the electrons from one end to the other end. Okay. Now, the question is, will the electrons flow freely? No. The reason is the electrons, as they move, they collide with the positive ions. That is almost the nucleus of an atom. So as the electrons move, they keep on colliding with the positive ions of your material. Now, this collision is the reason for the resistance offered. Is that clear? That is why you say the resistance depends upon the nature of the material. It depends upon the size of the positive ion. It depends upon the number of positive ions. So it depends upon the temperature also. That we'll see what happens when the temperature increases. So when the electrons are being motivated to move, they don't move freely. They are always being obstructed. Why? Because they keep on colliding with the other atoms. So now please understand, boys, you have applied an electric field. This is the direction of your electric field. Now electrons move in a direction opposite to that of your electric field. Now what happens is that the electric field is applying a force on the electrons, so the electrons gets accelerated. Now the question is, to what extent the electron gets accelerated? The electrons are getting accelerated only for a short time, right? And this time is represented by Greek letter tau, and we call this time interval as relaxation time. Now only during this time the electrons gets accelerated. Now what is that? Suppose the electron after collision goes and collides with an atom, right? So it collides with the number of positive ions or the atoms. The time taken for the electron, right, to travel between two successive collision. So when an electron encounters a positive ion, right, it undergoes a collision. Then meantime, between the two successive collision, again it goes and collides with the next atom. It again gets retarded, right? It undergoes a collision with a positive ion, right? It gets slowed down. Then it is acted upon by the electron, so it gets accelerated till what? Till it goes and collides with the other atom. So the time taken between two successive collision of your electron is called the relaxation time, boys. I'll repeat this because you should know what you mean by relaxation time. Suppose an electron, right? It has already undergone a collision. So this is an electron. So this electron is accelerated. Why it is accelerated? Because it has been accelerated because of the electric field. Now this accelerated electron collides with a positive ion. After collision, its speed decreases. Right. Now after collision, what is going to happen? Still it will be acted upon by your electric field. It gets accelerated. Now how long will it get accelerated? Till it goes and collides with the other atom. So between two successive collision, between two positive charges, I can say, between these two positive charges, the electrons get accelerated because it goes and collides with one atom. Later on, it gets accelerated by the electric field till it goes and collides with the other atom. So the time taken between two successive collision is called relaxation time. Only during this time it gets accelerated by the electric field.
Between two successive collision, meaning ma'am, when one atom, by the time it collides with another atom, ma'am, that
Other
much
atom,
time
yes,
is known
between
as the
two
relaxation.
successive collision. Yes. See, after collision with the first atom, it gets accelerated. After
Also, but
colliding,
this work is done, right?
work is
Done.
between two successive collision, actually energy is lost. That is why the moment it collides, its energy is lost. Then after collision,
And
it
that
is
says
going to
like E
travel.
minus.
That we'll do. We will do the derivation part later. I'm just introducing the terminology. So between two successive collision, the time taken between two successive collision of electrons with the positive ion, we call it as relaxation time. So only during relaxation time it gets accelerated. Now, as a whole, when the electrons are subjected to an electric field, they don't get accelerated. They start to drift under the influence of an electric field. You know what is drifting? Instead of getting accelerated, they keep on drifting with a constant speed, and such speed we call it as drift velocity. So under the influence of electric field, let's keep this in mind. Under the influence of an electric field, how do you create an electric field? By connecting the ends of the conductor to a power supply. So the chemical energy stored in the battery is going to create an electric field. Under the influence of the electric field, the electrons get accelerated, right? And the movement of the electron is opposite to the movement of the electric field. Now the question is, will they continuously get accelerated? No, they get accelerated only between two successive collision. And that the time duration between two successive collision, we call it as relaxation time. So as a whole, you can see under the influence, you can see check how electrons are moving when the first diagram shows how electrons are moving in the absence of the electric field. This is in the presence of electric field. So almost all the electrons are traveling with the same speed. They are not accelerated, but they are accelerated only for a short period of time. We can say they are drifting under the presence of the electric field. Here you can see how electrons are randomly moving in the first diagram. Is that clear, boys? Though the electrons are accelerated by the electric field, but this acceleration lasts only for few seconds. Thereupon, they are constantly drifted.
After the second collision, they again get accelerated.
Yes, again. Because the electric field is there, right? Electric field is continuously making it to accelerate. So between two successive collision, I suppose if I take these two atoms, so between these two, here it gets accelerated. The space between two successive collision, the electrons get accelerated due to the electric field till it goes and collides with the other atom. The moment it collides, it gets deaccelerated. So now what the first part of the topic is resistivity. You all know what is resistivity. Then the new thing concept, what you're going to learn is what is current density and defining electrical conductivity. Boys, almost all 1 mark question will carry all these things. Define current density, state its SI unit. Define electrical conductivity, state its SI unit. Very well, we know very well what do you mean by Ohm's law. This is what is your experiment, boys. The potential difference across any conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across it. All these concepts you have learned, or should I teach you boys Ohm's law, 12b?
Just can you give a brief, like, so we can just remember it?
Can you give it statement?
What happened? Should I explain? Should I explain, boys?
Ma'am, can you just brief it?
Okay. Suppose if I have a conductor, was always a conductor is represented, right? A conductor is a resistor. Any conductor for that matter, let it be a piece of copper wire, let it be an alloy, let it be a tungsten filament, all these have some amount of resistance to the, all these have some amount of resistance to the flow of charges. Is that clear, boys? Only superconductors, still superconductor, anyone who wants to go for research later on. Yeah, I have checked. Because the problem is superconductors, long that they have done, we need liquid nitrogen. Let me check whether those things are not available. Only superconductors. You know what is superconductors? Even at, you should have a superconductor so that there will be no resistance offered to the flow of electrons or the charges, so that your current transmission, right, can be transmitted without any power loss. The problem is none of the superconductors can exist at room temperature. You have to cool the material below certain critical temperature. That's the problem with superconductors, but that is one important branch of physics which still has so much of research going on, low temperature physics. Anyone interested? Later on for your research, you can go for this, because still work is going on for superconductors, boys. Might be anyone if can find superconductors which can operate at room temperature. A very, very, very important breakthrough will be for the technology where you can transmit your power without any loss. Anyway, boys, if I have a resistor, basically a conductor is also a resistor. It offers resistance to the flow of charges. Now, if I connect a resistor to a power supply, now what does this power supply do? Almost all your cells and battery have stored chemical energy. Now, this stored up chemical energy is going to do a work. Is that clear, boys? This energy is going to do a work in motivating the electrons to move from one end to the other end. If it is a conductor, it will have free electrons, right? Free electrons means valence electrons. Now, what does this power supply do? It will make the electrons to, which is connected to the negative terminal. The energy stored is going to do a work in pushing the electrons, right, from one end to the other end. Is that clear, boys? So the work done is the measure of the potential difference. You know what do you mean by potential difference? Now, suppose if I have, boys, if I have a pipeline, right? If I have a pipe, now water can easily flow from one end to the other end. Why? If I have a horizontal pipeline, can water flow from one end to the other end? Now, why is that so? No, I'm talking about the flow of a liquid or the flow of water. There is a difference in pressure here. Both the ends are maintained at the same pressure, right? What is the formula for pressure? H rho G. Rho is the density of the liquid. It's the same at this end as well as at this end. The density of the liquid remains the same. Acceleration due to gravity is also same. Then height is also the same. Both ends will be at the same pressure. Look at this. Right. This end will be at a high pressure. This end will be at a low pressure. Is that there no difference in pressure? Your liquid will flow from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure. You need not do any work. Naturally, it will flow. Same thing happens in your fluorescent bulb. This fluorescent bulb, nothing is there inside. Only you have a cathode. Then it's vacuum, totally a vacuum. Right? What is going to happen is that one end and the other end maintained at a power supply of 240 volt, right? The filament will burn and it sends away cathode rays, that is electrons. Now these electrons are accelerated by the potential difference. And what happens? These electrons collide. This is not an ordinary bulb, glass bulb. The glass will be coated inside with fluorescent material. So whenever your charge particle goes and hits the fluorescent material, it begins to glow. Is that clear, boys? So now what happens is that all the electrons are being accelerated. So the pressure is 0.0000001 millimeter of mercury inside your fluorescent tube. Outside pressure is 76 centimeter of mercury. Then what happens? The moment you break, I have solved this up. Meeting principal. Okay, then they can copy down some notes. Okay. First, did you copy the what is that observation notebook? Did you have sent a mail? Did you all copy in your observation book, or you need to copy? Boys, observation books are graph books. In grade 10, you have been using graph book. I don't know what is happening, boys, at home. Are you able to listen? Boys?
Ma'am, graph
Yes,
book?
ma'am.
Graph book is your observation book. Do you understand?
Ma'am,
Record book is different.
Ma'am, like with the record books?
Record book is different, boys. Observation book is a graph book which has one side graph, the other side ruled one. 100 pages, I think, so you can buy from outside. Is that clear, boys?
I have to bring it for lab.
We thought that
Yeah,
we have to write in the lab.
yes, without that you can't, because your laboratory session is very, you have limited time. You can't keep writing over there. You have to start performing your experiment. Please get the observation book, the graph book from outside. Any shop will have those books. That's enough. Record book later. I'll tell you record book when. Sure. So those who are coming
in graph, we have to write the observation.
Yes, one-sided graph sheet. The other sided will be ruled sheet. In those, you have to write all the detail which I have sent. Is that clear? Is that clear? Fine, boss. Now look at
lab book. You have to write the whole experiment, only the observation.
I have sent yesterday. I have sent a file to your ID and your parents' ID. What has to be written in that? Aim of the experiment, apparatus, principle. Yeah, both the experiment you need to write, boys. Is that clear? Is that clear? Sure? Fine, boys.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Now I'll just go for it, boys. Now look at this. That's why when you break open your fluorescent bulb, air gushes into it because outside pressure is high, inside it is very low. That's what you hear a large sound. Now, boys, now what happens when same thing applies for your conductor, metallic conductor? If electrons have to flow from one end to the other end, there should be an electrical pressure difference. One end should be at a high electrical pressure, the other end should be at a low electrical pressure. This electrical pressure, we call this as nothing but the potential, the electrical pressure difference. The difference in the electrical pressure, we call it as potential difference. Are you clear, boys? One end should be at high potential, the other end should be at low potential. Only then electrons can flow. As you have in a horizontal pipe, if water has to flow, one should be at high pressure, one should be at low pressure. So what do? You connect it to a pump. If I want water to flow along a horizontal pipeline, one end should be at high pressure, other end should be at low pressure. How to maintain? You're using a pump. Same way, if electrons have to flow from one end of your conductor to the other end, you have an electrical pump, and that electrical pump, we call it as your battery. So electric current can flow from one end of the wire to the other end only when there is a difference in potential. Is that clear? Is that clear, boys? Now, suppose if I have a conductor which is connected to a 5-volt battery. This is 5 volt. I have another conductor, say, which is connected to a similar one, which is connected to 10 volt, right? This end will be at 0 volt. This end will be at 10 volt, 0 volt, 5 volt. In which case the potential difference is more. Second one. So here the flow of current will be, because more amount of electrons will be motivated to move. More the number of electrons, more will be your current. Is that clear, boys? So the difference in the current flowing through a conductor depends upon the difference in potential. That difference in potential is V. That is what is your Ohm's law. Is that clear? So V is directly proportional to I, because more the potential. If I am connecting this to a 10 volt battery, now your battery has more energy, 0 volt, 10 volt. Here the battery has more energy to push the electrons. So energy is directly proportional to the potential difference. Potential difference is directly proportional to your current. Higher the potential energy difference, which means the battery can do more amount of work to push the electrons from one end to the other end. That is why, what is V? It is difference in potential. So V is directly proportional to I. That's clear, boys?
Ma'am, does the positive end have more potential?
Negative end will be at low potential. Positive end will be at a high potential. So just write the Ohm's law, boys. The current I flowing, Ohm's law states that the potential difference across a conductor V is directly proportional to I, or V is equal to, now what do you mean by constant of proportionality? What is V is equal to R into I? Now look at this. If the potential difference increases, was V is not potential, the difference in potential, right? Now the question is, if V increases 5 times, I will increase. There is no doubt. Directly proportional means what? If V increases, I will also increase. But the question is, to what extent V is going to increase? V can increase 3 times its original value. It can increase 10 times its original value, right? By what factor I is going to increase? That is determined by the constant of proportionality. That is the meaning of constant of proportionality. To what? When V increases, I is also going to increase too. By what factor I is going to increase is determined by the constant of proportionality. That is what we call it as resistance. It depends upon the nature of the material. And Ohm's law is obeyed only as long as the temperature remains a constant. I think so you know all about this, boys. Then R is equal to the resistance. R is directly proportional to L. R is inversely proportional to A. Because if the length increases, what happens to the number of collision? The length increases, the number of collision of electrons, length increases, number of atoms increases, then the collision of the electrons with atoms also increases. So that is why resistance also increases. Is that clear? So just write R is equal to rho L upon A. Rho is called the resistivity of the material of the conductor. Was last chapter I have to do a derivation and I have to do a lots of numericals. I don't know if possible. I have to go for an extra class. Just till resistivity, can you write? So next class we complete what is meant by resistivity and the rest. Was possible, those who are coming for lab session tomorrow, please get a graph book and complete your work. Have sent the mail. You can leave the class, boys. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you. Ma'am, in the 6th period, you're going to tell us about that one derivation that we had to do, right?